With a single strike, the originally flat metal sheet has been shaped into a regular form, and this machining technology doesn't require heat or molds. It's called progressive Dius machining. The name itself is easy to understand, gradually hammering the metal sheet to the desired shape, with the tool being the vertical cutting blade. Before starting the machining process, technicians convert the CAD data into numerical data, inputting it into the 3D controller, then place the flat metal sheet on an empty platform, fixing it on all four sides, and the numerical control tool starts operating at high speed, hammering the sheet along the pre-designed path. Each unit point isn't formed in one go, but gradually. Thousands of unit points connect to form lines, eventually connecting to form a surface, simply by continuously impacting the sheet, causing localized deformation of the metal, thereby achieving the machining goal of forming shapes. This moldless machining method not only reduces machining costs, but also increases production speed. During this process, industrial waste generation is also limited, and the flexible, mobile numerical control tool can machine complex shapes, but the limitations are also evident, restricted by the thickness of the sheet, unable to machine deep and complex shapes. However, this remains an efficient machining method for products requiring only surface shaping. Do you know of any similar machining methods? Immediately, they became muscular men. This is because they all wore a shock-absorbing jacket inside. Don't think that its main purpose is to disguise and act, because at crucial times, it can save your life. Everyone is curious about the motorcyclists. After being thrown out at such a fast speed, they can stand up as if nothing happened. The reason is not only because they wear good helmets and joint protection, but more importantly, this shock-absorbing jacket. When it detects that the racer is about to be thrown out, it will immediately inflate and swell, protecting the racer's neck, back, and chest. When the racer falls, the air cushion will disperse most of the force. The principle is actually very simple. The jacket is divided into a racing version and a home version. Both have the same compressed air tube. Put it inside the jacket, connected to the activation device. Before activation, they usually wear the jacket inside the coat. This is not only for beauty, because no one knows whether there are sharp objects on the road. If you wear it outside and really fall, the air cushion when touched may leak, eventually losing its protective function. And the only difference between the two versions is the activation device. The racing version relies on the detection device to activate, while the home version needs to fix the pull ring. Connect the pull ring on the motorcycle with the jacket. Once the driver leaves the pull ring, it will release the compressed air tube, completing the inflation. Please pay attention. The cutting head is controlled to cross over, the excess branches will be cleaned up, and the neatness of the garden is also improved. However, these branches are not cut off, but pruned. The cutting head is equipped with 2 rows of saw teeth, which move closely back and forth. It's not so much a cutting head as it is a dozen or so scissors. This is a dual-blade pruning machine specifically invented for garden maintenance. The angle of the cutting head can be changed at will. If necessary, you can adjust it horizontally, moving along the top of the tree. The trees in the garden will be pruned to the same height. In addition, there is a type of pruning machine specifically invented for messy green belts. Adjust the angle well and move across. The originally messy pine trees have now been pruned into a straight line. Not to mention the high work efficiency. Just looking at this picture is very stress-relieving. Unlike the previous one, its cutting tool is 4 rotating cutting discs. The angle can also be adjusted at will, and there is a remote control version, standing on the side to control the machine to move. This can complete the pruning work better. If you want to prune 2 high trees, then raise the cutting tool to the sky. At that time, the helicopter will hang a row of rotating cutting discs. Thanks to the skilled driving skills of the driver, the cutting disc prunes the tree branches along the high voltage wire. This can effectively prevent tree branches from burning due to high voltage wires. What do you think of these tree pruning technologies? The appearance of this machine has helped solve a major problem in stone mining. It just opens its mechanical arm, aims at the large rock, and embraces it. The rock, weighing tens of tons, was split in half on the spot. Thus, transporting rocks has become much easier. This is the unimaginable mobile diamond wire saw. Previously, we learned about the traditional diamond wire saw. Some wires are made from a chain of diamond grains, under the stretch of the wheel, cutting the rock at high speed. The purpose is to cut the rock with high precision and smoothness. It is widely used in stone processing plants. However, the mobile diamond wire saw that we just saw is different. It moves in the rock mines. Its main job is to split hard-to-transport rocks, reduce transportation costs, and increase transportation efficiency. Therefore, it does not need many diamond wires. Just one is enough. The operating principle is very simple. After the machine moves next to the rock to be cut, it will release the hydraulic column, first stabilizing itself. Then, it will extend the mechanical arm to bring the cutting device above the rock. The remote control lowers the mechanical mechanical arms on both sides, releasing the diamond wire. The two wheels on both sides will rotate at high speed to pull the diamond wire to move. As the mechanical arm continues to press down, the diamond wire will cut the rock at a speed visible to the naked eye. In an hour, the hard and thick rock can be cut off. Do you know any other stone processing and mining technologies?
The machine passes by, and the excess grape branches on the grapevine are cut off. This is the miraculous cutting machine. Its mission is to help workers complete the task of pruning grapevines in winter, because grapevines in winter will enter a dormant stage. During this stage, cutting off the withered grape branches will benefit the growth of grapes in the following year. The entire plant only needs to keep 1/3 of the grape branches. In addition, workers will also cut off some grape buds on the remaining grape branches. The purpose is to improve the reasonable distribution of grape branches and make effective use of space, and the reason it is called a miraculous cutting machine is because the machine can only cut off grape branches. After that, workers will have to manually complete the task of cutting off grape buds. The machine is responsible for cutting first, so it is called a miraculous cutting machine. Its operating principle is very simple. The front of the mechanical cylinder has 2 mechanical heads. Each mechanical head has many metal cutting discs installed. They stack on top of each other and move with the machine, running along the grape rack. When the metal cutting disc spins fast and touches the grape branch, it will make a ding-ding-dang-dang sound and cut them. The more grape branches need to be cut, the more metal cutting discs there are. When encountering a rack, the 2 mechanical heads will temporarily separate. When passing the rack, they will merge again. The cutting efficiency is very high, which can replace dozens of workers. Do you like the technology of this machine?
A large reel moves and drops an electric cable from the beach into the sea. This is the first step in installing undersea cables. In front of it is an automatic ground lifting device responsible for placing the dropped cable directly into the ground. Therefore, wherever the reel drops the cable, the ground lifting device will place it there. This is the process and principle of undersea cable installation. It's worth noting that to increase work efficiency, people have combined these 2 types of machines. The cable dropped from the reel will be placed directly into the ground through the ground lifting device in front. The maximum depth can reach 3 meters. On the beach, 3,000 meters of cable can be installed in an hour. In the sea, 2,000 meters can be installed. However, this installation method is only suitable for areas that can be dived to. If you want to install deeper cables, you can only rely on the self-help of the cable slowly sinking to the seabed so they are exposed. In this case, a passing shark could also take a bite. And if you want to repair a broken cable, it's not an easy task. It requires workers to bring a special sealed repair cabin to the seabed. It is divided into 2 halves. After sealing the broken cable, the cabin will automatically push the water out. The staff will put their hands into gloves connected to the cabin wall to complete the repair process. And you might be watching this video through the internet provided by these cables.
Whoa!
Remove the shaking boulders on the mountain in just a few fleeting seconds. It could save a person or even many people, because if these boulders are not cleared in time, the randomly rolling boulders will hit each vehicle. As seen in the video, the person in the car was lucky to escape and was then successfully rescued. But this doesn't mean everyone is so lucky. So, clearing the mountain of rocks becomes a sacred task. If you can't remove the boulder, insert an airbag into the crevice. Continuously pump air into the airbag to push the boulder out. Faced with harder boulders, use a jack or pulling tool. In general, use any method that can be used to clear these boulders. If possible, use a helicopter. Hang a heavy iron ball weighing thousands of kilograms on the helicopter, then fly the helicopter into the mountain. Such large boulders have been knocked down, but this is just clearing the large boulders. To completely eliminate the risk, the helicopter will return and replace it with a water bag, after filling up with water in the nearest water area and returning to the mountain. Turn on the water bag switch, tons of water pour down, pushing all the rubble on the mountain down. This is not over yet. To ensure safety, workers will build a net barrier halfway up the mountain. Each net barrier can withstand thousands of kilograms of pressure. After completing these tasks, the mountain road can be normally open to traffic. People can drive with peace of mind. What do you think of these handling methods? Placing a device resembling a spiral into water, turning it, and water will be lifted to a higher level. It's not just water. Some granular or powdered materials can also be transported upwards by it. This is the marvel of the Archimedes screw pump. It consists of a cylinder and helical iron pieces spiraling around it. Its invention can be traced back to ancient Greece. In times when there were no water pumps, farmers used to rotate it with a lever to transport water from rivers to fields for irrigation. The principle is actually very simple. After putting a cylinder on the screw pump, turn turning the lever, the spiraling iron pieces will carry water continuously upwards in the cylinder until it flows out at the top. Developed to this day, the screw pump has evolved into motor-driven. However, it not only consumes electricity but also, by reversing the order of the device, can be used to generate electricity. It's worth noting that when transporting water upwards, extra rotational force is needed. So, if the direction is reversed, the downward flowing water will drive the screw pump to rotate. At that time, generators along the street will be able to generate electricity. Not only that, this invention has also been applied to the tires of all-terrain vehicles. In dense marshes, forward rotating threads can provide enough traction. After entering the water, the hollow body of the pump can provide buoyancy for vehicles. How about that? Isn't it amazing? You've heard and seen elephant toothpaste, but do you know how to make it? First, if you want to create a vigorous reaction of elephant toothpaste, you need to use 3 things. The first is its raw material, peroxide, also known as hydrogen peroxide, that we often see. Its chemical formula is H2O2. Because this structure is unstable, it will decompose into water and oxygen. To speed up the decomposition reaction, we use the second thing, potassium iodate. After dissolving it in water, we add it to the peroxide as a catalyst. In an instant, there will be a lot of bubbles. The bubbles here are oxygen, and oxygen in water. But before adding potassium iodate, you need to add the third thing, detergent. It can trap the decomposed oxygen in the bubbles. The more oxygen, the more bubbles, and the elephant toothpaste is made. During this process, you can add color according to your preference to create a rainbow version of elephant toothpaste. However, if you want to create a super large elephant toothpaste, in addition to a sufficient amount of peroxide, the concentration is also very important. The reaction of low concentration peroxide is mediocre, because it carries too few oxygen atoms. The large experiments we see all use high concentration peroxide. At present, the largest elephant toothpaste in the world comes from this guy. He designed the reactor to be wide at the bottom and narrow at the top. When the crankshaft is pulled out, 4 boxes full of catalyst will fall down. After everything is ready, turn on the switch. Peroxide and catalyst react quickly. The bubbles produced shoot straight into the sky. Because the reaction is too violent, the bubbles burst the reactor. A large amount of foam spews out. How about it? Do you understand now?
Recently, we have delved into the principles of operation of classical stone-throwing machines. Simply put, it involves using a container filled with stones as a weight, akin to a balance scale, to propel the stones. The distance the stones are thrown correlates with the weight of the container. But what if we utilize a device with a rotating wheel to accumulate energy generated during the descent of the container, and after accumulating a significant amount over multiple iterations, release it all at once? That is the principle behind the wheel-equipped stone-throwing machine. First, we construct a cross-shaped frame using aluminum alloy. A 27-kilo container is suspended from the short end, while a tennis ball is used instead of a stone on the long end. The center is fitted with bearings and welded with an outer circular frame to ensure stability. The tennis ball is tethered to the fan blade of the bearings with a thin string, and then a crossbar is installed on the side and pulled forward with a string. Upon contact with the fan blade, the string is released, and the tennis ball is automatically thrown. As a result, with rapid rotation of the crank, the bearings spin, and the wheel-equipped device accumulates energy. After 20 rotations, pulling the string causes the tennis ball to fall off the fan blade at its highest point and fly out rapidly. In total, after accumulating the potential energy of gravity 20 times minus other energy losses, the final result is over 10 times stronger than that of a traditional stone-throwing machine.